Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of EXAPUNKS. We had just in the last episode sort of studied the tape archive we need, not the hard drive array we need to work with. So, brief refresher: file 200 in drive 1 is like a master index, and each. And so you're going to look up in the index, like, where is the person that you want to know about. And it's followed by 10 entries, which are which tell you where in this giant tape array that piece of the data you're looking for is. So this 540 next to President whatever means in drive 5 here. File number 204, chunk number 0, the beginning of the file. Which one is this? Here. Then there are 10 bytes that are part of the sequence you're looking for. So our plan is going to be to have some coordinator bring this book with him. Ooh. Is there gonna be room? So the idea was to have someone in here who owns this book. And he's he's coordinating things. He spawns a bot and says, here's the chunk you're looking for to read. That bot goes and reads it and then broadcasts or receives a broadcast message saying where to write it to. He goes there, he spawns a new bot, and they do this copy. And then in the meantime, we've started a new reader, and we continue like so. But it's actually not so straightforward because there's just very limited space inside the drive array, right? There's plenty of space out here. Oh. Well, I should just bring the index out here then. Because my problem was okay, we need to copy stuff from, this, which is fine. We have space. When we move an exa in here, we lose a space, but when we pick up the book, we gain a space. But in order to actually look through the index for the people we're looking for, we need to go refer again to these symbols. Which means we need another book in here that we can drop and pick up. And at that point, there's only room for one more exa. But that exa, when someone comes in here needing access to one of these files, they need space for themselves and one more exa, and that just is not present. Actually, though, it is? Well, no. Because they need to drop the book they're carrying before they can pick up a new book. Right? There actually is enough room in here for one exa holding this thing, one book on the ground, one exa holding another one of these files, and one exa in this empty space. There is room, but you can't actually get to that state. The good news is it's much simpler to just have, and probably faster too, to have the coordinator out here in the open. Because it means that you will have to do less walking once you've gotten instructions about where to dump the book, right? Or where to go. So I think having all that stuff here is going to be an improvement. So let's start writing that. We're just going to grab 300, link 800, drop it, link 801, grab 200, the index file, link -1, and drop it. And here is where we're going to begin our loop, I think. Mark begin. Let's mark it a chunk. I don't know. We're going to be saving in our in what register should we save which chunk number we're looking at, actually. Oh my god, this is kind of hard. Because to test whether the file that we're looking at like, ooh. I guess we need someone with temporary storage here. Once we're going to use our X for remembering which chunk we're on, like how far we are into reading these files, but we can't do that while we're scanning to get back to the entry we were in the middle of, right? Because we need to store a keyword in X and test results against that keyword in T. So before we begin that process, we're going to fork off a new exa just to remember the X that we had. And his only job will be to broadcast it back to us when we're done, so that we can store it in X again. Okay, that seems manageable. So what exactly are we going to do? Both the books are on the ground, and we need to get started. On the first go-round, we don't technically need to fork off a thing. We could consider, like, forking that exa at the bottom of the loop, right before we mess up X by jumping to the top and grabbing a book. I guess that should be fine. So we'll just grab... oh. No, we actually do need to fork off a copy because we're going to be assuming that we can read the value X from the copy we forked off, right? After doing this search. Yeah. So let's REPL to save. Mark save. We just copy X to M and halt. And that's it. We probably don't need the halt. Whatever. It might be easier to just have it here because we'll be writing more stuff after this, perhaps. And then I don't have to figure it out. And then if there's a halt at the end of the file, like, who cares? We'll just delete it then. Let's grab 300. And we know we want to read from the first entry in F. So we copy F to X. That's now the symbol we're testing for. We drop the book. I know they're files, but they kind of remind me of books. Then we grab 200. It's locked. It's locked. We have to leave it in there. Okay, fine, no big deal. We can just, right, you can't take out 200 because you could then bring it into another room and then there'd be two 200s and that's not allowed. We'll leave the book of presidential names out here, politician names. And every time we need it, we'll just step out of this room and then come back. Is there going to be room in here for all that? I think yes. Right, as long as we don't drop an extra book in here. There's always room for 2 X's, as long as one of them... There's room for 2 X's. One of them will pick up a book that's already here, this one. The other one will replicate, filling the space, and then pick up another book that's already here, so it should be fine. Okay. So we, in fact, will not do this. We can't move that book. But now, how do we get back the value that we were gonna use? I guess it's fine. There might not be room because there might be someone already doing a write operation in this disk, and then there's no room for the guy who has our memory to come in and tell us like where to start reading from. But eventually that guy will finish and we can get in. We can't broadcast to him because we're using the broadcast channel for writers to figure out where to write from, and there's some chance of an overlap here, I think. Maybe there's not. There shouldn't be, because we wouldn't... We wouldn't want to know where to pick, what chunk to pick up from, until so what's the sequence here? We fork off a copy to keep track of our offset, and then we send a guy to do some writing, or some reading, I guess. He's going to take a long time, so we can read from the... And while, importantly, while he's working, the only other thing that might be doing anything is a writer, and the writer never needs to talk to anyone, except locally. So... we forked off this reader. Who sent us back the value. And now we need to go back and grab the other politician's name, walk back into our room, search for that politician. And then we'll need our chunk number again, but fortunately there's still that same bot alive. And we haven't used the global channel for anything else yet. The guy who was reading will eventually want to use the global channel to hear from us. But he first has to do a lot of reading. And we need to do almost nothing, so we should be okay to use the global channel, I think, for all of this coordination. Okay, so we've now grabbed 200. And we want to scan through the file until we find someone that matches some entry that matches X. And we can scan through it 11 at a time, right? Which is nice. Because otherwise the guy doing all this scanning might actually catch up to us if we read through this one index at a time. So I guess we begin a scan R loop. And in this loop, we test whether f equals x. If so, oh, I don't know, let's just seek forward by 10 here to skip over it, assuming we missed. And then if not, jump back to scan R for read, in case I didn't mention this. Then we must have actually found it. Therefore, seek backwards by 10 to get us back to the entry we wanted. And copy, no, seek by M. We'll read back the chunk number from that guy and seek forward by that much. And then we can simply copy f into x. That is the chunk number that we, or the address that we want. And we'll simply replicate to reader. Mark reader as, having done that, we now need to find out where to store that data. So we might actually be doing this 3 times. Not sure. I guess now we've made a reader. We need to drop the file we're carrying, link back to grab, to go get the file with the second person's name, copy that into X, drop it, link 801 again, grab 200 again, and now mark scan W for write. Which is going to look very similar. Test whether f equals x, seek by 10, false jump back to scan W. Now we must have actually found it, so seek by -10. Actually, we don't need to do a seek by -10 and then a seek by M, right? We can just have the guy giving us X lie a couple times and say subtract from X 10, storing the result in M, right? To account for us having overscanned. Now we have sought to exactly the location. Or wait, we sought ahead by 10 after reading just the name. Yeah, -10 is the right amount. Okay. Now we have we have the address of the place to write all this data that someone was carrying. But we don't know where they are, and we don't want them to have to come to us. So I think we use the global M here. Copy F to M. Drop the file we were working with. Link -1 to go back here. And copy M. Yeah, I guess we can still use global. No, we can't use global mode because if we had used it, we would have raced with ourselves. This guy has been writing over global a bunch. But he's been writing to us. We've already handled the writer. The writer is dispatched and doing whatever. I don't think anyone else needs to know anything, right? No, right. The problem is we just sent something over over M, right? And if this guy were also sending over global M this time, it would cause trouble. So there's a couple things we could do. One would be well, wait. We just read from M, and then we wrote to M. So this guy, right after he wrote to us, we need him to be quiet for like just a second, right? But even a single no op here would be fine, I think. I guess that's fine. I'll try it. No, we'll just add X and 1, storing result in M, and then die. Okay, now we're here. Why did I link -1? Unclear. I don't need it yet. That's because I thought I was using can use local mode to talk to this guy, right? And then I'll copy M to X. Test is X equal 10. This is how many things we have read. 10 being the number, the total that we want. And F jump back to chunk, I guess. Otherwise, jump to well, why jump to a halt instead of just because I've got this 300 file I need to mess with. So this mark die is just silly. Now we grab 300, wipe it, and halt. So I think the orchestration between these guys is correct. Let's see if we can at least like read a single offset this way. Why did we just pick the file back up again? Yeah, I guess this is a little silly, isn't it? We'll just assume that at the beginning of the loop, we already have the file we need, which we will achieve by putting this grab here. Yeah, we sent him a value, or he has a value by virtue of having been a clone. And we now have the thing we want to read. And he's getting ready to tell us like some kind of seek. Did I forget to go to room 801 already? Yes. This time I remembered, but not this time. All right. Grabs file 200. Test f equal to x. By golly, he was the first entry in the book. Amazing. So we seek forward by 10. And then say, wait, hang on. That was the right one. Amazing. Copy f to x. And replicate a reader who now knows that he should find and read whatever is at address 540. The reader is not written, so he just dies. But, very good. We can now write the reader, I guess. And the reader link -1 to leave this room. Swizzle. Now I have to look up how this works. It's some sort of digit manipulation thing. Yes, I'm not going to show you guys the manual. I don't want to forget to leave, and Swizzle's not that exciting. Okay, Swizzle takes the value of the first operand using the second as a mask. So if we want the third order digit, which is what we want right now, we need to use a 3 in the mask. And the place that we put that 3 depends on where in the result we want the value to be. So it should be at the end. So we're swizzling x with 0003 and putting the result in t. And then linking through t. Finally, we swizzle x with 0002 into t. We grab t. And then we swizzle x again with 0001 and t. Now, I've done this before with like mods, you know, mod and div, but swizzle is better because you don't have to do both operations. You can just do one. And we will seek by t. We should now be pointing at the first thing we want to know, and then we need to like replicate someone and send him some data. But let's make sure we got this far okay. So we should get to 540 in the reader. He has exploded. I forgot to add 800 to the link. -1, he's swizzling some stuff, adding 805 is like, here we are, disk array 5, grabbing file number 4. Now we gotta add 200 again. Add t and 200 and store the resulting t. grab the file. And this one time, we don't actually have to do anything funny after swizzling. We can just seek by, in this case, 0. And we're now at, indeed, the place where we wanted to do, to copy some stuff. So what we need to do now is just fork off a new exa to hold a file to copy this data to. So we'll REPL to, let's say, copier. And mark copier here. Now otherwise, we just repeat 10 copy FM in local mode. This is very important. In fact, let's do that before we REPL so that the copy is also in local mode. It saves us a line. And honestly, at this point, we can just die. The guy who did the copying can halt. He's done. Or the one who like read the original file. He has nothing useful left to do. I wonder if this guy might not, if the index owner might actually not yet have the data that we need. If he's still using the global M channel. Hope not. So, okay, fine, whatever. We'll see, I guess. We'll just switch modes here. And then, having switched back to global mode, we copy M to X and do the same like swizzling nonsense we did before. Swizzle X with 0003 into T, add 800 to T, link 800, add I, storing the result in T, swizzle X by 0002 into T, adding 200 to T, storing the result in T, grab T, I forgot to link T, not 800. And finally, swizzle X by 0001 into T. I could put it in X, I guess, but whatever. Grab T. No. Seek by T. And now we need to REPL a paster, I guess, to whom we repeated 10 times copy from F to M in local mode, and then halt. The paster 10 times copies from, I think I forgot to make somewhere. Copies from 10, Oh, right. The copier is still holding, the guy who copied, has brought the data in, is still holding the file. So he can't be the one who picks it up. So we need to take this REPL here, and after entering the room, we REPL to the paster. And this is actually stuff that the paster does. Oh, I guess we switch modes right away, let's say. All of this stuff about picking up the right file, this is not done by us. Rather, the paster does it. Copy and F. And at this point, I think we should just halt. We're not going to go back and get more instructions from the indexer. He's just spinning off new jobs every time he needs to do something. I'm sure I missed something, but like this seems roughly. I've done all the stuff I meant to do, I think. So let's see what I missed. Oh, right, I forgot a make. When did we first REPL to a copier here? Yeah. Copier begins by halting. That doesn't seem right. How about here? After we've copied the data to him, he wakes up. Yeah, then we halt. He wakes up, and the first thing he must do is make a file. Okay. How about now? We do this. We grab the file. We're like scanning through it, and we say, wait a minute, by Jove, I got it. We make someone else and send him out there. Meanwhile, we grab the file, rescan the stuff to get the second person's name. Grab the file. And actually, I think these guys might outrace us. Oh, it is very close. But this guy is, yeah, he's now... Wait, what? Yeah. These guys bypassed this fellow. So... we do need to make sure they use local copy mode inside of this room for the... Who the... Come on, I want to know about XA0, please. Yeah, for the second copy, they need to use local mode here. Other than that, they should be okay. So we... That's when we're doing a scan for the right, yeah? Or after we do a scan for the right. So we were doing this seek by M, but first we can't actually do that. We have to link -1, switch to local mode. Oh, shit! I can't actually seek by M because I don't have the file anymore. So that's a problem. So there's a few like ideas occurring to me. One is to have the EXA who wants to know where to write, have him actually come in to this room and ask in local mode. In that way, we are guaranteed that all communication between these two is the only thing happening in global mode. And it won't interrupt at all. It's a bit annoying, but that's life, I guess. It's just a couple of links and a couple mode commands for each of them. And actually, it's not even a mode command for the reader, because he was going to have to switch to local mode anyway to coordinate with his copy-pasting exa. Speaking of, is there a problem with using local mode communication in here? Might there be some other operation ongoing in here? Not while we're asking where to write something. That's the one time during the whole operation when nothing is happening. Because once we've been told where to write, this index owning guy will assume it's safe to spin up another reader, and he should be right. So he'll do that. It'll take a while because he has to like move around and grab the file he wants and so on, but yeah, okay. So what else could I do? I could have XA come in here and transmit in local mode. That might be simpler. It's a time when he is otherwise not very useful, right? We don't need this space while we're doing that, I think. There's no chance it'll be too crowded in here. In fact, could he just live in here now that we're not keeping the book in there? Well, it doesn't really help because he needs to do global communication anyway to avoid stepping on the foot of anyone who's doing a copy inside this room. But could I move him in here? Is that okay? We're in here and we're still holding the index book, so there are 2 spaces. There might be someone in here trying to do a copy. And if so, he's using local mode. No, there won't be someone in here doing a copy because the moment we're thinking of doing this is when someone has just finished reading. At which point, they have an exa who might be holding this book and another exa who's holding a different book. But there's space for me to squeeze in. And one of them is about to disappear anyway, so I guess that doesn't matter. It'll be the one holding this book. There's just space to get in here, even in that case. Okay. So before the second send by the save fellow, we need to switch modes and link to 801. Switch modes again. And forget this no-op, he's link -1. Just get out of this room so that whatever copy is happening can proceed. I don't think you actually have to leave, but it's sort of fine. And meanwhile, the guy who's requesting this value here but couldn't there be a read going on in this room while I'm doing this? We made a reader and we sent him on his way. But he might have come back to this room and created a copy thread that he's working with, right? And they're using local comms. Bringing this other guy in here in local mode is not exactly solving the problem. I think. Maybe I should undo these changes I just made and fix the problem in the other direction. By having the, so once we reader, we halt, right? The copier copies from M to F locally many times, switches to global mode, and then copies from M, assuming that the writer is ready for him by now. But if the writer was slow, he might not be ready. So we can just like throw in, I don't know, 3 no-ops or something. Let's check and see how, like, does this file ever get larger than 9? Because we were close even on reading the 9th entry. Looks like it's always exactly 9 entries. So, okay. So maybe just throwing in a couple of no-ops in the writer is fine. It's like a little bit gross, but... Did I see this guy move in here? No. Good. Okay, he's writing all this stuff. He dies. And this guy is doing his no-ops, waiting for these two to finish. Meanwhile, XA has finished. I think. Oh, wow. Very close. He got the value. And now this guy's waiting. Right. Extremely close. We were told 528 is where to store this? That's right. All right. Oh, did I forget to link -1 at some point, apparently? We've, copiers happened. We can link -1 here. We needed to do that anyway. This way we can maybe handle 1 less no-op. I mean, surely we can handle 1 less no-op this way. It's just a question of like, do we need to, or was I off by 1 anyway? I don't know. Ah! He's dead! Oh. He can't grab 300 yet. He needs to link -1 here. Since he's coming out here anyway to grab the book, this could be in local communications, but I guess it doesn't matter. We just broadcast the message to the writer, so there's really nothing else going on. If this message missed because something else was happening, we're already in trouble. And if this message hit, then there's no real problem. That guy fell apart. We're like, what are you up to? You are, it's so hard to find your code. You're both on this very turn. Is that right? Copying, trying to use M? Okay, that's clearly too tight. The reader needs one more no-op, I guess. We can't guarantee who would win that race. He's got a 1 that he's saved up. He's ready to send back. Did I remember to wipe out my file? I did. Okay. So what's the? I should pay more attention. Oh look, the security alarms are going off. Or the hard drives. I guess that's a hard drive we're looking at blinking. Okay. So I just want to see someone actually writing. So we made this file that has the DNA. Or no, this was the old file. This is the new file. It's got some DNA in it. And then we say, we go into this link, back to room 5, because we need to write to like 528 or something, right? Yeah. And we replicate to the paster. And we need to start copying a bunch of stuff to him. The paster, you guys are in local mode, right? Yeah. The paster says, what shall I do? He carries on with this swizzling. Grabs, hopefully, 202. Where did he go? He was destroyed. Why? Alright, get me to the part where they're pasting again. You have forked a paster. Congratulations. And you are now preparing to... Oh! You have to seek to the beginning of the file after you make the paster. Where mark rebel paster? Okay, this is all done. You go out here so you can figure out which link to go in. And it's like, oh, actually, the one you were just in, thanks. You make a new guy, and we send him a C. And he says, oh, there's the file I wanted, 202, all right. And he sought to, I hope, offset 8 in this file. Ah, we need to multiply by 10. Yes, so both of my seeks with swizzles are actually wrong. Where do I have a swizz anywhere? It should be around here somewhere, right? Swizz, yeah. So it should be actually this, because we want it offset by 10. We want it in the tens position. Okay, try again. He should have sought to position 80, right? But he sought to only position 8 was the problem. Now we have file 202, I think, right? Yeah. And we're pasting into an offset 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Although, yeah, 0 means the beginning, right? Let me just check in the zine real quick here, the old zine. I won't bother you guys with the details. Starting a chunk address, second digit, 0, yeah, offset 0, good. Otherwise, like, some of the data would be wasted, right? So, look at this, new readers have appeared. Uh-oh, we didn't delete this file though. So the guy who forks to the paster needs to wipe first. Oh, interesting. They gave us room for exactly 2 things on purpose, I think. So that you can't accidentally send someone who's reading the next file offset in after someone who's currently writing the current file offset. Like, this looks pretty promising. How can I confirm that it's correct? I don't know. Let's just let it play, see what happens. Okay, it was not correct. What did I miss? Well, there's some files lying around here. That's a problem for sure. 2 files? Really? How did that happen? Oh, it's like such a pain to like fast forward until something bad happens because you can't like go back. Here, it just happened. Why? I don't know. The X's are all gone, right? Let's try to keep an eye, I guess, on XA and see. Or no, this guy's actually probably a better watch target, right? He's the 6th copy of XA. So I guess that doesn't actually tell us that much. He's broadcasting back a -6 because he knows it's X number 4. There should be a total of 10 such writes, yeah? But then we just stopped here, way before we got to 10. What went wrong? I'm just gonna keep an eye on like what number of XA. It was like number 5 standing out here. There's 6 maybe. No, he was broadcasting the number -5, I think. That's what I saw. So like this. So we just dropped file 200. Coming out here to grab the file and begin searching for the senator again. Grab the file, this is all fine. We didn't find what we wanted. Scanning through the file. We're now at the end. But we found what we wanted. So we're going to seek by M, and there's no one broadcasting on M except this guy. So we get it. We get the -5 or whatever. -5. Is that right? Ah! Grr. It didn't work. Something happened right then. What's up with this guy? Link not found. Okay, so there was some confusion. This guy got the value that was meant for this guy, I think. I wish I could see what code they were in the middle of. Wait, he's in local mode. Out here? Holding a file. What's his X? -5. He got the -5 that was meant to go over here, and the original XA got a 1. Okay, so who makes XA 1100? That's what I want to know. So I can figure out what his, when I see him appear, I need to like worry and see what part of the process he was. Here. What are you doing, sir? He is a copier. And he somehow finishes very quickly. He's doing a few no-ops. What's XA up to? He found the senator. He's jumping forward. And as we try to copy, he's also trying to copy. So I guess we need more no-ops in the copier? It's a little bit of a surprise to me. It was right all the other times. And this shouldn't have been any slower, I think. What would have made a difference? I don't know. Okay, I mean, I can just put another no-op in. Here. Yeah, now we made it past 11. We did it! Once. Okay, this time we again, someone else got a value that was intended for XA. Just like whole communicating by no-ops is awful. Like, let's just see. Is it really a problem that can be fixed by adding more no-ops? What if I put 8 in? It's worse? Oh. Yeah, because the other guy in this room had exactly one no-op to make him line up with what was happening, because I thought it was taking a constant amount of time. But there must be some situation in which the amount of time differs. Like, maybe if he goes into this room, he has to wait behind the other guy while that person's traversing the door at the same time or something. This could help. Maybe. Yeah, same problem in test result 2, though. Interesting. All right, well, I guess we have some more debugging to do, but this has gone on for long enough, and we, or certainly I, need a break and some sleep. So I'll sleep on it and get back to this tomorrow, I guess. Hopefully we can finish it off. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.